Hello, and welcome to the Parthenon Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Joe.
And I'm Meg.
And today we have, guess what? Stories.
I love stories.
Yeah, me too. That's why I watch stories on TV. I read stories on my Instagram timeline.
I write stories sometimes, too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this week I just have a column, though. Nothing super investigative, but it's fun.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, my column this semester it's called A Moment with Meg. Initially, it was called, what was it? Something Keller Consultation, initially, was what it was called.
I like that one. That's a cool name.
And then Dan Hollis, one of the professors here in the J School, was like, you should call it A Moment with Meg. Just like off the top of his head, was like, that's a better title. And I was like, you are correct.
You're a heckin' genius.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's kind of an advice column. I know a lot of people in college have issues. I mean, it's obviously very stressful to be in college. You're not just going through school and trying to build a career for yourself and get an education, but you're also stressed out by life and what's going on and what's happening. You're also learning how to adjust to being an adult and grow with those changes. So I've had people send in some requests and some Dear Meg type columns looking for advice, and I just want to be a friend to everyone who they may need someone to come to. I had mentioned in the first podcast of this semester a little bit about what it was about too, but so far not a ton of submissions, just one.
Just one?
But it's going to be in the paper this week.
Cool.
So pick up a Parthenon today at the newsstand.
So what was the submission about, if you want to briefly talk about it?
So this week's submission was about a senior at Marshall who is graduating, and she is a little bit apprehensive to graduate. She's excited and, proud of herself, but she's also apprehensive to move on and maybe go somewhere else and leave kind of the consistency and safety of the past 4 years that she's made here, to leave all of that and kind of start over new again.
Yeah.
So this week's advice and, my suggestion is to celebrate that grieving and losing of the stagnant feeling that you've been having. Or I know for me personally as a senior, I'm ready to graduate and leave, but I'm also sad to leave some good friends behind. And I know that I've made so many memories here. So, but it's kind of, it's more important to celebrate and see that as something that really made you who you are rather than to sulk in the loss of it.
Yeah, it's good to celebrate, I guess, that growth, how you've changed. And for me, too, college is one of those things that I'm getting really restless. I'm tired of going to classes, tired of doing all this work, kind of seeing that it doesn't amount to anything in the short term. It's just kind of contributing to this drop for drop down in the ticking of the percentage of
very much.
How much have you finished your whatever, your capstone or whatever. It's just it seems like it's very minuscule at the time. I
agree wholeheartedly, especially this is my 5th year. I'm ready to go. I did 2 years of a degree that I absolutely hated. So now I have 4 minors that mean absolutely nothing to me, that can't be attributed to anything that I'm actually going to use in my career. Yeah. So I'm aggravated at myself for, wasting time at that. But then I took another semester off and joined the military and came back, and then I learned some of the classes that I took now don't count. I got to take them over again. And so a lot of things have put me behind, and I've seen so many. The reason I guess I related so well to the person who submitted that was because I wholeheartedly empathize with it, because all my friends, either they graduated and they moved on, or they made other friends in the meantime and kind of left me alone. And now I'm just chugging away trying to finish this degree so that I can move and start my career. I'm already working in my field. I work for the Herald-Dispatch. I have so much experience thanks to the Parthenon. I know how to do a lot of multimedia different things. And
does it kind of seem like you've already jump-started it in that regard, and graduation itself isn't going to necessarily seem as much as a milestone because you've kind of already made this slow fade?
Definitely. I think that at this point that graduation is just the day that I finally get that paper that says I'm done.
Yeah.
It's not really I mean, it is a celebration, but it's not really, like you said, the milestone, because I've already hit those milestones. I'm already working for a professional company. I'm already doing all these things that prove that I am capable and knowledgeable in my field.
Yeah.
I just don't have the physical piece of paper saying it because of, a couple like foreign language classes, or like I needed a history credit, things like that. So
Yeah.
it's not even journalism courses that I'm like really having to take.
Yeah, the thing with getting a degree in college is, one, it can prepare you for that transition past college, but I feel like that's also where it's lacking quite a bit, is we don't know. I don't know jack crap about doing my taxes.
Oh yeah, no, I don't either. I don't know how to get a credit card. I don't know any of that.
Yeah, like applying to get a credit card, applying to get a loan. I feel like those things should be part of the transition in terms of those are part of the classes we take our senior year, because like that's going to be the most meaningful in the next 12 months past graduation.
I want so badly to get a new car, and I don't even mind to like take out an auto loan to do it and everything, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
And for people like me, and I know that there are many more like me, I don't really have the influence of like parents to help me. I mean, my dad has passed away. My mom's not doing very well right now. And I don't really have any other like older adults that have, experienced that kind of thing that are willing and available to help me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like I'm drowning sometimes. I feel like I'm just barely peeking my head over the edge of the water and breathing.
Yeah. I mean, that's really hard, especially when like you yourself want to kind of have those, not lifelines, but you need to ask the questions, and it's sometimes you can't.
I
get
won't
it,
know unless I'm taught or have to experience it somehow. So, and I would prefer to not experience it alone, but so far, that preference is not really being met. Like I'm just I'm swinging it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying.
I mean, like living on my own this semester in terms of like not being on campus has taught me a lot in terms of, paying utilities, just figuring out, one is like figuring out the motivation to get to class. It's like, oh, I live so far from campus. I'm not just in the campus bubble. I have to actually make an effort, and like I'm paying for this place.
Right. I've lived off campus since my my junior year. So for me, my very first semester of my junior year was 2017.
Yeah.
So that was a minute ago for me. And then after that, it really takes you out. It really almost divides you from this college mindset where you're like, well, I'm done with classes for the day. Let's go round up my friends and run around campus and feed squirrels and watch movies in someone's dorm. And it's like, it really separates you. And that's when I felt like I very much came into adulthood, was when I started living on my own and wasn't on campus with everyone all the time.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I guess that's part of the transition is you're not necessarily going to become an adult in your mind, Pat. Like once you get your once you're graduated, I'm 100% an adult on my own, because sometimes where you get that slow fade, it's like, well, I still don't know everything. And most people never even get to that point where they feel like they know everything they should in their adult life.
Right. I'm just winging it, and whatever happens, I'm dealing with the repercussions and learning from it.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way I know how to do it.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a good way to go about it. And I think like meeting some of those trials on your own is good and bad in terms of it's scary and there's more room for failure, but it's also a learning lesson in that regard. And it's, I guess, part of your self-growth.
Right. And see, that's what the column is about, is to help people know that someone's out there that empathizes with them, that is listening and cares and can probably relate.
Yeah.
So
how do you want the column to grow? Do you just want more submissions? What kind of things are you thinking about that you want to help with?
I want it to grow in a sense of the submissions. I want all different kinds. I want people to be like, hey, I'm nervous for graduation, but also people who are like, my girlfriend's about to dump me. What do I do? How do I fix my relationship? To, I don't know, how do I find passion for something that I was once interested in again? Just an array of issues that everybody as a human being and a young adult experiences.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want just school related things. I don't want just like relationship related things. I want everything. And I want more people to know that whatever you're going through is valid and it's important to talk about it. And it could be very helpful to talk about it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can recognize that. And so listeners out there, please submit to Meg for this column. We want to hear your issues, your problems, anything you want to talk about. Meg has open ears. Look at her.
They're open.
They're open.
My professional counseling degree is I have a minor in psychology, and my mom was a licensed professional counselor forever. So
Hey.
that's it.
It's in the
I'm
blood.
not cool. I'm not fancy. I just been here for a minute, and like life has kicked the crap out of me sometimes.
Yeah.
You learn from that.
You do. So this next story is about the concealed carry bill. It's back, guys. We talked about this a semester ago, 2 semesters ago.
I think it was the fall of 2018.
Oh my gosh, has it been that long? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So it's returned to the West Virginia legislative docket for this session. It's come back with a vengeance. And for those who don't know, the concealed carry bill would allow students and I guess faculty, if they had a concealed carry permit, which I think is like 21 plus, I'm not sure, but that's still like half of the student body.
I'm not sure. In West Virginia, it might be 18.
It might be 18.
Or maybe
guys.
that's to buy a weapon. Let me see. I'll try to give her a Google.
Well, Meg is Googling that. Yeah, it would allow students or faculty, whoever has a concealed carry permit, to carry to class, carry on campus. Its intended purpose is for use for self-defense, but of course there's a lot of backlash from people saying that it's going to cause more harm than protection in terms of that the risk is already so low. Why would someone need to conceal carry? Is it 21?
It's 18.
It's 18.
West Virginia is a constitutional carry state. Open carry is legal with no requirement to have a license to carry a firearm, provided the person is at least 18 years old and legally entitled to have a firearm under the state and federal law, just meaning that they're not a felon and they're just 18. That's all you have to have. So you just got to be 18.
Okay. Wow. That's wild.
I think that changed in recent years.
Like was it 21 or do you think it got more lax?
It was 21, and West Virginia is one of a few states that is now like you just have to be 18 to have it.
They should listen to the students more in terms of, I guess this would be for all West Virginia secondary education, and that would probably include WVU and probably a lot of state schools. And I think they need to definitely listen to the student body and faculty on this matter in terms of letting it be according to what the campus wants by a majority. I think that would be like the most sensical reasoning.
I think that that's fair. I think that that's a very democratic type of way to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, have a vote or something of the sort. But like, what are your personal feelings towards it? What is your, as a student, if you were asked that question, how would you answer?
I don't know. It's I think concealed carry is maybe appropriate in some settings. I don't think it's necessarily appropriate in a school setting, just because a lot of buildings you can't have concealed carry in. Can you even have concealed carry in like some municipal offices or like state government office?
You can't. I know you can't in Huntington's courthouse, or not the courthouse, but maybe it's their courthouse. I don't know.
Maybe.
I went to make my voter registration card one day, and they're like, they whole patted me down, went through my bag, and the guy behind me had a concealed carry, and they took it from him until he left. So.
Yeah, I don't know if a campus is more likely to be under attack, and it just like it says that in the article here, and a lot of people bring up that your chance of being a victim of a firearm on campus is so low that like it's 1,000,000 to 1 almost. So why would you feel the need that you would have to protect yourself? So I don't know. What are your personal stances? Because you asked mine, and I didn't really think it was appropriate on campus, but in terms of just concealed carry some other places, yeah, sure, maybe.
I think it's really complicated. My personal feelings towards it are, I understand both sides. I understand people feel very uncomfortable around guns. I understand that, like, it could also increase the chance of violence if you had them around. But I also understand the idea of, you know, one person. It doesn't take a rule to stop someone from coming to campus with a weapon and raising hell, basically, and hurting people. And so if one person does have a gun, the potential to stop them is there, but it's also not guaranteed. And for me, I think the idea of having weapons on campus and heightening that risk outweighs the, what if somebody comes on campus? There's got to be a good guy to stop him. Yeah. I think that the risk outweighs it. And I personally don't want that. I don't want some kid in class angry having a discussion to, for whatever reason, lose his head and shoot somebody. You know, I don't want a teacher to feel like they have to have a gun to defend themselves, or they might be uncomfortable with that too. I just think that I'm not for it. I think that it's, the risk again doesn't
outweigh the I think smart move too is schools, instead of buying big M's, why don't you heighten actual security? You know,
hire more police officers,
hire more MUPD. I mean, I feel like everyone likes MUPD in terms of accessible security, and it's like, hey, we have a watchful eye here, even though it doesn't seem like we have a lot of MUPD officers that we see on a daily basis. You know, I don't think people would be upset if there were more MUPD in terms of that outweighing concealed carry.
I mean, personally, with my experience with police, I have several police officers as friends. When I'm on campus and I see a police officer, like, I know when I leave the basketball games late at night, and I usually go alone. I walk alone to my car, too. I have to walk across campus and go past Duncan because I park kind of back there behind that building. I feel better when there are police officers around. I really do. But like I said, I think that having more of them would be beneficial, too. I mean, there are more students than just me that walk to their car in different directions and want to feel safe. And I also know that MUPD are the ones who actually escort the coaches and players during ball games.
Oh, sweet.
So they may be occupied with that as well. So that's something to consider. I think, like you said, there are alternatives to keeping people safe than having a gun, which could also increase the risk of not being safe.
Yeah. So, going back, it's just, I think it's best to leave it up to the decisions of the students and faculty, like the people that actually occupy the space. So if a majority do not want concealed carry, which it kind of seems like there is a majority against it, you know, I haven't really heard a majority side for it, just because in our own
it didn't
Parthenon
pass before, so
and it didn't pass before, so that kind of
it
shows you. So hopefully it doesn't pass in the docket based on, I don't know, just
based on people who are not
involved
firsthand.
There you go. So this next story right here is by our own Amanda Lurch. She's doing a series on faculty members that are married and have involvement with Marshall, which is really, really cute. It's
a cute little Valentine's Day and, you know, love-themed stories that we're going to put out. I'm excited for them.
It's very sweet, and this one focuses on Charlie and Pamela Bowen. And our own Charlie, he has been involved in the Parthenon through... He's been involved for a while, hasn't he?
Charlie is the professor for our 301 students who are in the reporting class, who often write the stories for the Parthenon that get published. So he's the direct... What's the word I'm looking for? He's the first line of defense when someone needs a question about an article.
Yeah.
I don't know. Charlie is who taught me how to write news stories as well. Honestly, I wholeheartedly credit him to being the reason why I'm in the career field that I am, and teaching me and helping me bring out this passion I have for journalism. I took his class in the spring of 2017. It was one of my first journalism courses, and I was really iffy. Like I said, I had done 2 years of a degree that I wasn't really passionate about at all. I really honestly did not even enjoy it. and then wasn't good at it either. And then I took one of Charlie's classes, and he really made me feel hopeful. He made me feel like I was actually good at something for the first time in college, and then I loved it, and I just wanted to keep going with it. So I love that he's the Parthenon teacher, professor man.
Yeah.
And
teacher, professor man.
Yep. And his love story is so cute. He talks about Pamela all the time, and some of their photos I'm going to put up on our Instagram, so check those out and learn a little bit more about their love story. And yeah, it's really cute.
So his wife Pamela, she graduated from Marshall with a degree in journalism in 1968, while Charlie himself graduated from the University of Kentucky in 1970. And apparently, through their love story, he would travel from Kentucky to Marshall, often skipping class, to come see Pamela. And in the article, it also talks about, over the past 50 years that they've had together, they like looking back at these love letters that they sent back and forth. Some of them, he says, he cringes at and kind of is like, what was I thinking at the time? Why were you with this guy? But
that's cute, though.
Yeah, it's adorable that they've been together for so long and that they get along so well.
How long have they been together? How long does the article say?
50 years.
Crazy.
So 50 years. So they recently had their 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
That's half a heckin' century.
That's crazy. That's literally a lifetime.
Yeah.
That is a lifetime with someone.
That's like most of their lives together.
Yeah. Charlie and Pamela literally have the type of love story that everyone craves to have, I think. Like, just how hard they work to make it happen through adversity, and then now they come to Marshall and they audit classes together and they teach some others, and it's just like, oh, they're just so cute.
It's so fun that you can just kind of come in and pay to audit a class, just kind of like sit and watch, observe, kind of, and which they do together often. And Charlie is sat in a bunch of the other classes revolving around the J School. And with that, they go to Marshall events as part of their dates. Mm-hmm. As more recently, they go to Marshall lectures too. Mm-hmm. So lots of Marshall involvement, even though he was a UK graduate.
Right. Yep. I also am going to I'm personally me. There are some other reporters and editors going to interview some other folks who are couples on campus.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm particularly focusing on Lori Thompson and her wife. Her wife is actually part of the West Virginia Army National Guard.
Oh, okay.
We had talked about her last week on the podcast. She was doing an event at the library talking about how she'd helped to set up writing letters to troops that are deployed. Yeah. And her wife is part of a unit that is deployed. I wanted to write about their love story and what the angle is about, her being deployed and what that is like and how it has affected her at work. And is it different not having your wife around every day and going to work and seeing things that remind you of her? Like, has it made you stronger being apart? Like, how has that dynamic factored into your relationship?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be an interesting story too.
Yeah. And so I'm looking forward just to all the stories from this whole the series, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's a big old series. Look at that. And we're actually having, in 2 weeks, we're having, I forget their names, but two guests who are being written about within the college. Let me check that real quick. Sam Kincaid? Kincaid? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sam Kincaid and...
James? Sam and James.
Sam and James. Cool. James with a Z. I've never seen that before. Is it James?
I don't know where they work on campus or what they do. I just know Amanda was like, here's a couple. I'm going to email them. Let's see what they say.
Well, we're going to have them on 2 weeks from now, so you guys better look forward to that, or else.
Or else. We want to spread love and positivity.
Or else.
Or else.
We don't threaten here. Please. Except when we do.
I'll just say please.
Please. What'd you think about the Super Bowl? You watched it, right?
I did.
Okay.
Okay, well, I was like, I didn't, most people go out to like a Super Bowl party or see a lot of friends. I did not want that. Yeah. I wanted to be alone. So I was in my jammies and I sat on my couch and I drank some beers and ate popcorn and watched the Super Bowl by myself
Yeah.
and enjoyed it. And last year I didn't get to see it. I was at basic training.
Oh, no. They didn't even put it on for you guys?
Oh, absolutely not. I didn't see a TV for 3 months. Absolutely
Dang.
not. I remember, I'll literally like never forget this. I don't know why it was so significant. When I was away at basic, the only way that I heard anything about the news, and me being someone who's so involved in the news all the time, every day, watching it, listening, or creating it myself, I was so cut off and aggravated that I didn't know anything about what was going on in the world. So I would like eavesdrop on the drill sergeants who were available to the outside world. You know, they'd go to work and be with us and be all hateful and mean all day, and then they'd go home
To their wife and
to their
kids.
wife and family or their husband or whatever,
Yeah.
and be normal. Well, I would hear them sometimes talking about their normal lives, and I'd be like, okay, what's going on in the world? And I remember one day, I didn't even know what day it was. Like, I had a watch that told me the time, and that was it. That's all I had. And I remember that one of my drill sergeants was talking about the Super Bowl that was going to happen. And I was like, who's in the Super Bowl? Who's predicted to win? What's going to happen? And I didn't know anything about it. And I obsessed over it for like 2 or 3 days. And then on that Sunday or Monday, at breakfast, we had like one of our nicer drill sergeants.
Yeah.
And so like when I was eating, I had to, when you eat, you have to keep your head down, and like you can't look up or talk, and you just like shove food in your mouth. Yeah, honestly. And I happened to be at the end of the table, and the drill sergeant was staying at the end of the table, like, look at everybody. And I was like, drill sergeant. And he looked at me like, I can't believe you're talking to me right now. I said, drill sergeant, who won the Super Bowl? And he like slams his hand down on the table and acts like he was going to scream at me. And he goes, the Patriots. Yeah. And I was like, like he actually told me, but he was a lot nicer and would joke with us sometimes. So like took that risk and asked him, but he still tried to be dramatic about it and act like he was going to yell at me. But I thought that was cool. Like that was my Super Bowl experience last year. This year was totally different.
Yeah.
I was chilling, just watching it and
chilling out.
Yeah. I wanted the 49ers to win because they had the first female coach.
Oh, okay.
One of their offensive assistant coaches is a female. She's the first woman. And I actually think she's gay, too. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's some representation.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFL. We had a little shindig at our place. Pizzas, wings, beers, all the good stuff. Mm-hmm. We're not huge sports fans, but we kind of just use it as an excuse to have a party. And that's what
most people.
A lot of people do. And, we just had it on the background, and we just kind of like sat around, played Super Smash Brothers, talked for a while, had some good fellowship. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to do.
That's what it's about.
It's about the friendship that you make along the way.
It's American tradition, truly American right there. It's food and your buddies and a football game in the background, even if you're not watching it.
Go football.
Go sports.
Go sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all we have for this week. All the time we have, unfortunately. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm Meg.
And
I care about you.
Yeah, we all care about you over here. All right. Catch you guys next week.